Hi, I'm Rosie Richmond.
And I'm Peg Nof.
Welcome to Works in Progress, a show where writers read and viewers listen.
The next thing you'll be seeing is a young writer from Champaign whose name is Synopsis.
Later, after Q reads, we'll interview him and his attorney, Laszlo.
Steal poetry from work. As typewriters tap, clackety clackety clack, I am stealing my morning back. While bosses loom in webs of suspicion, I am already on the third rendition. While office workers work and percolators perk, jerk-offs like me majestically jerk. While sharpeners grind and filers find, I am triumphantly falling behind, raking my mind for the next subpar rhyme. Tedium shirk, steal poetry from work. You will not be fired uninspired. Your day will not be filed away. Good morning, class. Welcome to English 666, Special Topics. Advanced, culturally incestuous homosexual necrophilia. You will be graded entirely on your failure to participate in your own education. So, shell out clams by the thousand to watch a bald guy in a bad suit flounder, attempting to appear profound. Today we will interpret and analyze the grotesquely unpublishable works of that creep, Q Synopsis. Lightning whipped the sky and thunder muttered sluggishly. The clouds were electric pillows, flashing, flaring, flickering, glaring. The night I was born. The dead riders gathered in the sky, and rain hammered the Illinois soil, where a shack clung to the flat, wind-blistered cheek of America. When I was 5, my mother gave me a book. I opened it. It was a book of poems by William Carlos Williams. I threw it around the earth 7 times. Time sped up and slowed down, except me, simultaneously 13 and 30. I'm now going to read aloud from The fire, born of accident, born on incident, consumes commercial relics of Johnny Word's childhood and continues to burn in concentric rings, radiating outwards and along occasional veins, ultimately affecting the lives of all the characters while obeying completely all the irrefutable laws of narrative fiction until all conflicts are simultaneously resolved in a neat flourish, maybe, with only an occasional digression. Conveys a sense of a new time, a new generation, provides insight into the now scene. Chicago Sun-Times. Unusual understanding of youth. Christian Science Monitor. The introduction is an inane and aimless, grand and breathy ramble spouted by a much-written-about writer espousing multiple human classics themes he unwittingly imposes on the actual text. Food, sleep, and... But I know so much about this subject that I need merely beat around the bush using the most cryptic, antiseptic, symbolic terms available within the trampled resources of my own writing faculties so as not to get my paragraphs all wet. Sex, which, through knowing references to much written about books, he believes is considered enjoyable, are, he believes, the underlying motivations of the character of Johnny Word, who, he believes, does resemble Raskolnikov in the slightest. After that walk down interminable corridors of early American government institutional facility, unpainted steam pipe, ineffective desk, and three-legged chairs thrust aside until the proper janitorial paperwork is completed, the novel then opens like clam-bake ovens in a wave of heat and the dribbling hiss of oil globules on cellar-cold stone. I am everything. I am the polysyllabic abstraction. I am the ultimate all-referent, obscure Hindu term. I am the only lone, unloved, existential, martyr-like symbolic sphere within the sphere. I am the artist-poet. I see an image of something beautiful beyond tangibility. I'm quite finished, thank you. That other poet's girl. She walks in beauty like a cliché. She knows how to curl up like a shell, extend a delicate finger. A human chandelier blinds me, all thoughts frightened run astray. Like rabbits from revolvers, her vision tears through me, and I amicably mutter muddy poetry and leave. This is not a garden of delight. This is not a fountain of inspiration. It is another poet's creation. So he has incarnate poetry, his words strewn with orchid petals, my own papers splattered in lime juice, disappearing vodka tear stains, wheels in the mud and the mules are straining. Imagine me, thumb upthrust and greasy, outside the gas station as the sun rises like cornflakes and 1,000 cars flee, screaming into the vast infinity of interweaving gray ribbons, garlands of concrete we have festively wrapped around the earth. We, as a population, are the planet Earth. Yet we consider to eat the planet Earth for breakfast and consider the stars for lunch before we collapse into our tea, polluted, uprooted, and weary of dispute. The television continues unreeling programming out into the kitchen, which is a void. Programming is hastily manifested cardboard facsimile front for the real substance of commercials. 8 o'clock, homeroom. Johnny Word dangled fidgety, dreaming recesses to weird pastures of sleep-induced dreams from desktop. Smooth-edged wooden plane with cylindrically, technologically obsolete inkwell, as well as slender pen groove. Metallic underbelly contains his textbooks for the day. It is a wooden and steel monoplane he now taxis down the aisle in, slumped at the controls. The words he had just written in his notebook in ballpoint ink, still fresh, would now become emblazoned on his forehead in reverse, much to his oblivion. Memo to myself. Don't grow up. Old people are cancerous. Let death come find you. Don't go looking for it. 806, physical education. Some boys were prematurely men. Others had been retained several grades. Thus were most disturbingly adept at athletics. This would have unfortunate results. Many of them developing an unfeasible interest in professional athletics as their only interest in life. Johnny Word could not remain alive during the agonizing laps around the track in his present condition, awoke on a stone slab in the school hospital, nurse attempting unnecessary cardiovascular resurrection through electrical voltage metal discs, uncoiling steel cables connected to banks of monitors whose left to right moving blips indicated perfect health. Consequently, elaborate and obscure punishments devised by the gym teacher. Many laps, push-ups, running the gauntlet nude in the locker room, rows of freshly showered seniors sinisterly twisting wet towels into sting-tipped spirals, nod to one another, thoughts already organizing themselves into a single grouping of 3 Greek letters. His normal sleep patterns interrupted by sever, so what of it? This story would break all the rules. Rules? What rules? There are no rules here, Johnny Word realized. Floated out of the window of class, calculus over the volleyball and tennis and badminton courts, a cape trailing behind him. He had, as was typical for Johnny Word, fallen asleep again, attempting to conceal the boner he had acquired, looking at Becky Gretchen Ellen Henderson's bra straps clasps impression in her sweater. Jack Tax Advantage sailed past the junior high school in a '68 Chevy Cameo. He was on his way home early from work at his good-paying job in the city, had loosened his tie and was letting it flip back in the breeze as he inched through the drive-thru at the bank, cranking the Beach Boys. Got lots of hundreds and just put them in his wallet there where he could feel them. They feel good. He cruised through the poorer neighborhoods, blowing stop signs and crosswalks, and zipped out of town past derelict barns, dead animals on the side of the freeway, acres of dying crops, and weathered men driving pickup trucks on the 2 a.m. to 4 p.m. shift, ingesting cigarette fumes, country music, and donuts. Jack went to the cemetery where his father was buried, slammed on the brakes, jogged up to the grave, slapped a 20 on it, winked, and said, "Hey, Pop, you may be dead, but at least you ain't broke." Then he squealed away. At this point, the author resumed control of the story. "Flee your house, flee your school, Johnny, never look back. Take the first school bus out of town and ride. Ride, Johnny. This exposure is over. Hit the fields of poppy and clover." But no, he didn't listen. This day in school, he would be punished for dreaming, by being sent to the principal's office, where he fell promptly asleep. Good grief, Johnny Word. He is consequently suspended for poor attendance, shrugs on his coat. Exit room left, Jehovah Word. In this way would Johnny Word relate a normal school day, then unplug his guitar and walk off stage. The audience had left a long time ago. That many the less screaming ears to feed. It was my pleasure to instruct Mr. Word in English literature. Unfortunately, I was forced to fail him. This is what I wrote on his grade report. Jonathan Livingston Word shows no aptitude for developing an upwelling of profound appreciation for the dead white male poets of the past 19 centuries. His heart is a cold lump of stone, compact and fissure-free. I tried to forge a splendid brazen gateway for him by underlining the passages marked with most compelling eroticity, with an emphasis on D.H. Lawrence's Lost Virginity, all to no avail. Poor little John Donne Word's libido sleeps soundly, his natural alarm clock unwound and forever silent. Oh, Cupid, kindly cleave his heart twain. Until the fire of appreciation burns in John Steinbeck Word's eyes, I shall have to fail him. I tried to be the perfect father for him. I sat him on my knee and ran my fingers through his orange hair, murmuring words. No avail. Oh, woe, woe. I was not the only teacher to fail Mr. Word that semester. Calculus, F. Jonathan is just beginning to understand that he was put on earth for a reason. In most situations, he is unnecessary and unwanted. All the incentives he was taught to strive for are inadequate bribes, attempts to buy his interest. He wants a reason to continue living. He is grasping at pickup sticks. If an A in calculus is not worth the effort it takes to memorize formulas he may never use, how does that reflect on me? My life consists of little more than those formulas and the effort it takes to explain them to a new class every year. To accept Jonathan's rejection of calculus would involve questioning the validity of my own stagnant existence, and I would rather not. Science, A+++. Mr. Word's dissertation on the complex structures of control underlying biological systems on any scale was a brilliant masterpiece, evidence of a pure and unrivaled genius. Tremendous amounts of independent research have given way to confirmable observations of control structures in organisms and in societies. Using insight involving a unique blend of political science, psycholinguistics, neurochemistry, and guesswork, Johnny Word has isolated that learned process which inhibits thought. I told the entire class that Johnny Word made them all seem like junior high schoolers, and instructed them to temper their respect for Mr. Word with love and understanding, and to offer him any extra food they might have in the lunchroom. Lunch, F. John Boy's overt submissiveness usually results in his being the focal point of food onslaughts. Then Johnny Word's lava lamp explodes and a cascade of superheated water and gooey wax globules rains ooze over the game of life for Johnny led. And up till then, normal life is a pink plastic peg in a car traversing American society's highway. Chutes, ladders, Candyland, Mastermind, Black Box, Uno, all on fire in the highest shelf of the closet. Then his Snoopy desk lamp exploded, setting the entire universe on fire as depicted in a glow-in-the-dark star chart from World magazine hanging above his desk. The rat sniffed the air nervously. The egg-shaped silly putter container exploded. The Etch-a-Sketch burst into flame trying to scrawl SOS, SOS, SOS on itself, but failing, unable to curve the S's. The Lego armies, tiny men weary of celebrating the siege and fall and rape and pillage of Fisher-Price Sesame Street, perished along with all their captives. Raggedy Ann and Andy died on fire in one another's arms, clothing torn asunder by their hasty, inarticulate fingers, in an expression of adulthood which set Mr. Potato Head's removable eyes ablaze. The burning Slinky shuffled clumsily down the stairs. Then Johnny Word became an adult. Work later, beer later, beer. TV on station, couch. Fuming beer in hand, spout, muzzle, gulp, crush, blush, belch, fuzz, fizz, foam, can. Cigarette, fumble, ash. Looking for a tray, mumble, stumble, buzz. Soak, heat, wet, ash, smoke, carpet. Later, cigarette burn. Grumble, groan, mumble, moan, stumble, kitchen. Looking for a flashlight, bathroom, coherent. Probably, but then, looking for a, well, too late. Light, miss, aim, swerve, trip, dizzy, fizz, fuzzy, belch, squirm, squelch, belch, herf, sigh, hack, gulp, wheeze, rush, carpet, 7, 8, try, gasp, retch, putrid air, whimper, guilt, cat laughter seeps through ceiling, later, water, misery, death, asleep, head, seethe, misery, sharp, brain, pound, pain, ache, astound, thud, 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 thud. Thud, 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 thud. Hell, patient agony. Later, calm, soberer, nurse, a morning, little. Unrehearsed dreams are taking place on the hastily constructed candlelit sets of the mind. Breathless actress in me, I watch from the wings. We are having a conversation blurred across distinctions. Lips clisp and whisper lisp in the candle-splattered darkness. She and I, we seem to be glancing at each other between the lines. Does she desire him? Teacups rattle and clank, and words slip like trains between understanding. We are reading each other's lines ahead of time. We know exactly how the conversation will end, how the entire act will end. Somehow that makes them seem to slip in between lines into being someone they were anyway underneath, and each somehow is desirous of the other and cannot explain it within the script. The lines are of morbid romantic decay, emotional leprosy, yet their eyes flare, locked in mutual intention. I'm supposed to go on stage, yet do not, for I cannot stop staring at the swirling oils of the painting of myself, hanging askew above the immense brass bed, billowing silk and oily chrome in the candle glow where they have tossed their pages to the wind, are embracing, grace and lace torn away. The coffins? Yes. Someone else appears center stage, then disappears without going either stage left or right. The audience lies enclaved. The programs speak for themselves, bite the hands that read them. I'd like to wax a little didactic, if I may now. We have arrived safely. It is the end of the story. Johnny Word is cheerfully insane. The cat hacks an equal and opposite violent reaction to hairball clog and ricochets a trail of mange. The parents are indifferent to the consequences of their accidental mitotic coupling that had fused gametes with a combined explanation of the fetus with red hair and glasses, who, grown upstairs, choked on Mumble's apprehensions, Jumble's inventions. The president tires of watching himself watch himself on TV, yawns and opens the Wall Street Journal to the headline of the feature article on page 2, which read as follows. Everything's just fine, folks. Washington, D.C. Nothing bad happened. Keep working. Trust the skies. Everything is under control. It's going to be a beautiful election day. Attend happily to the crossword puzzle and obey your horoscope. When will George Bush have to die tomorrow? When did George Bush have to die? The key word here is why. If not for George Bush, the present would have been the future, the past an irrelevant miscarriage. Why doesn't George Bush ever have to die today? As an individual, I would like him out of the way. Why won't George Bush die yesterday, revealing the wonder of the what could have been right now? If George Bush hadn't died, the president would scarcely feel inclined to become the future. George Bush would envision himself as the future. A man like that is best envisioned as the past. My political beliefs have unfortunately taken on the form of not George Bush. This has been quite a philosophical smush. George Bush will have made a nice dead person, if that is. Why did George Bush refuse to die when a nation of voters silently asked him to? Allow death to infiltrate his breath is what he will have had to do. This is America. The individuals are supposed to have the right to flush the house of sterile whiteness every 4 years. I would envision that happening. Of course, in the nation's sewer system, George Bush is likely to breed mutant offspring of large proportions. Perhaps, when he would have died, his corpse can be dismembered and diced, and tiny parts can be mailed to the houses of every registered voter. Chant with me now out there in television land. Let's give George Bush a gentle push. Let's give George Bush a gentle push. Let's give George Bush the coily serpent of time ever slithering. Content is everything, as in anything. Form has gone upstairs somewhere to read and worry. Content is ever changing. Like old people, skin like soft leather, representing everything I run from. I run from form, I content, as he lies in expanding blood circles of red, Volkswagen red, love juice red. She has textured braid faucets in her hair. They lie in impatient wait in there, waiting for time to burn out youth, still holding on in descending candle flame of unfulfilled love eternal. Her eyes could be flung anywhere. Resting on me, they sear, and time eternal has a question for me. Do I listen? Not quite. Not in between winds of the rushing young air, burbling full of birds. Those clamps in her hair, they lie smoldering in there, waiting for my jumping fingers to pull them free. Let them be. They belong in there. We emerge from this daydream unfulfilled, though it is night now, and she is pulling out birds entangled in her hair, offering them to the breeze. I have struck an elegant balance now, she murmurs gently, stroking this canvas which wants paint spurted onto it so badly. She is entangling me. A bird in her hair. I want a chance at the air. There are oxygen in there. Epilogue. She is restraining me. Hair red like shiny copper strands, all bending as a brush, rises them all in a sea, calming again now. She and me kiss cluster, hunched in the corner of an envelope. Let these prose envelop one another. This is the way life was wont to be, so won't you enclamp me when I want free? Release me at the air. I want a flying chance in there. I have one more composition for you this evening. I hope you've enjoyed the class. Be sure to fill out a teacher evaluation form on your way out, and always use a number 2 pencil. You can't see in. I mirror your expression without digression. I do what you do. I see right through you. Dissent, unrest, seethe in my skull, you might guess. You examine my grin, but you can't see in. So I nod, smoke, gulp, grin, sealing discontent within, concealing discontent within. If you were to pry open my grin, you would only perceive a psychic din, peering into this unbearable within. Mortar my skull, shaven, smooth, dull. Block my senses with opaque lenses. Imprison me, and I am finally free. Inside my sensory cell, I will murmur, drool, grin, knowing no one will ever get in.
Thanks for reading your work on our show, Q. And thanks for messing up the set.
Sure.
Yeah, that was a really inspiring reading, and can we ask you some spontaneous questions to help our audience in the Springfield School District out a little bit?
I'll have to ask my attorney.
Filtered through by me, of course.
Go with this bullshit.
No problem. Let's just keep it down to a minimum, though.
All right,
We're on a tight schedule.
Okay. The first question is, Hugh, are you pretentious enough?
Let me field that one. In honor of our most recent Supreme Court nominee, Judge Clarence Thomas, we reserve the right to unartfully dodge as many and as most questions that you will ask us. Like we just did.
Okay.
That was good.
I think he is. Mm-hmm. Do you have a question, Rosie?
I think he's pretentious enough for us.
Okay.
But I would like to know a little bit about how you got to Champaign-Urbana, Q.
I swam.
From where?
Indiana.
That's a dangerous journey.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of mud sharks in between.
Yes.
Next question, please.
Okay. Mr. Laszlo, tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Well, very interesting question, Peg. I must say, I was raised from amongst a band of gypsies who somehow weaseled their way into the hearts and minds of millions of sheep, and have now ended up on either the WWF or our Congress. What the hell? What do you know? You can see them on TV every day. My parents. I'm a product of my environment. You can tell.
You can.
I believe we all are.
Yeah, and you can tell Laszlo.
Thank you.
Tell me, Q, why do you bother writing?
Could you?
Well, he bothers because no one else does. But there are limits, boundaries. He doesn't set them. We do.
That's what it's all about. No limits, no laws. One person alone on the ragged frontier of human understanding.
Do you read a lot of Stephen King? That can go for either one of you.
Laz?
Oh, I generally try to listen to Stephen King on audio cassette. I find it much more stimulating. Q, he reads whatever he can get his hands on.
Is there an Easter bunny?
I'd rather not disclose that at this time. Next question, please.
Clarence Thomas Claus, aforementioned.
Are you Johnny Word?
Who's that directed to?
Q.
Okay, I'll take over. I don't know about that one. It's your call.
We experts in the field of advanced research feel that our opinions are very important. I'm sorry, what was the question?
Never mind, that
Clarence
answers.
Thomas Claus.
Yeah, that was good.
Total.
I wish Joe Biden were here to congratulate us.
Who?
Nothing.
But there's one thing more. Have you ever read poetry at a shoe convention?
There was this one time in Cleveland, but gosh, it's a bit foggy.
Yes, the police were involved. Many mothers, children's mothers, got quite anxious, and we almost got thrown in the slammer.
Well, do you get thrown in Slammer in Champaign-Urbana where you read in rock bars, or where can our audience see you if they like your work and want to see more, hear more?
In my apartment. But no, I have artistic immunity in Champaign-Urbana and have yet to be imprisoned there for any artistic reasons.
Although we will play any venue. Any venue is fine with us.
That's true. Direct all checks and correspondence to us,
In care of us.
this radio station.
We have about 1 minute left. Is there anything any of the three of you would like to say to our audience?
I do bar mitzvahs, and I have T-shirts for sale with my face on them and concert dates on the back. There are also little Q Synopsis posable figurines. You pull a string and it talks for about 30 minutes. And other fine products are available as well. We got compact discs, 8 tracks, phonograph albums, frisbees, and leather touring jackets.
We also have embroidered condoms with Q Synopsis name on them.
Well, that's
Bulk.
about all we need to hear.
In bulk? Can you get bulk rates?
Yes, you do, that's what I was just going to say. There are bulk rates from the mega purchases. One other thing I'd like to say is
Dump it on Discover.
dump it on your Discover card. That's right.
Could dump it on your Discovery.
That's right, Rose.
Yeah.
You pay attention to our spending
Thank
scene.
you for being with us, Q Synopsis, and your attorney Laszlo, and thank you for being with us
Frank
on
Zappa
Works
in '92.
Progress.